Hi, this is Joy from thedeliciousrevolution.com, and I have Andrea Rule with me today from AndreaRule.com. She is arguably the hottest personal trainer in La Jolla, if not the entire world, and she's also an amazing chef in her own right. So I've asked her to join me today because we got a communication from one of the people in our Delicious Revolution community that chats with me on the blog, and they let me know that they moved into a house that had a beautiful yard with a huge, very prolific fig tree, and they just had never eaten figs before, and they didn't know how to cook them, didn't know how to, I shouldn't say didn't eat them, she said she had tried them and didn't really like them.
The texture.
Yeah. So she wanted to know when to pick them and how to use them. So I have a raw recipe that I love for overripe figs, but I'm going to have Andrea show us exactly when we want to pick them, what you'll see them in the store, and then we'll kind of separate them and show you two amazing recipes. One raw recipe that's kind of like fig Newtons, only a little more schmancy. And then the second one will be a delicious fig chutney. Unbelievable.
It's sexy.
Very sexy. Okay, so let's look at the figs and see what we've got.
Okay, so basically, when you get a fig, and if you have a black mission, which these are, you'll see them like this, and you'll be tempted to pick it. You'll be tempted to take that. But see the green on it? It's okay. This would be a texture that the person who wrote in would describe. And if you see it, I'll cut one for you so you can see what it looks like. So that is a ripe fig, but see how it's still kind of grainy and whatnot? This isn't to cook with. It's not, sugar content is pretty low, it's grainy. This is the kind of fig that honestly, texture-wise, you're not gonna love. Then you move on to when you start to see these like little white lines. Now that's starting to get yummy. So these, when you cut them, you'll start to see how it's starting to get more like, you can see the difference. It's more like jam on the inside. This is your lover. And why? Is because the sugar content is high, and it started to get where you can noticeably see it. It's just juicy.
Oh, yeah.
Now this is where that chutney and anything that you want to not add a lot of sugar to, it's questionable, isn't it? This is perfect.
You mean a little bit overripe, questionable?
Yeah, questionable okay. Where like you would think that this is too ripe, that there's no way you can eat it. This is perfect, right there.
Okay, so let's show her from the outside. So if you have a tree and you don't know, so the outside we have, there's maybe a few little white sugar spots, but hardly anything. Yeah. It mostly looks like the color of an eggplant.
Yeah.
And then we have where we're just starting to get some slight fissures in the really thin, dark purple outer skin. And if you were to cut that open, again, we have very little of the pale green around the outside. And then here, when they're absolutely zebra striped with their little tiny breakages in the skin, that means you're going to get high sugar content, really sweet fruit on the inside. And it's already kind of mashy and not syrupy, but definitely gooey.
Right. This one would be really good paired with, it could be with cheese, it could be with wine. These are good to cook. This is perfect. Okay. But then we have our overripe ones.
Okay, and these are really squishy.
Yeah, these are squishy where
messy.
You would throw them out. You would think you don't want these. These are the ones that you would make a jam, and they just, you can see this when I pulled it off my tree this morning and it just broke. So I don't even have to cut it, I can just do that. That is the perfect fig. So if you want to make a jam, anything, right there. So gooey, mushy, better.
Okay, and in the raw food world, we might actually take that and just spread it with a nut butter on something, because it's already sort of acts like jam. But if you're not accustomed to the flavor of figs and you taste one and you don't like it right off the bat, let us try to change your minds, okay? Because especially you who have this amazing fig tree in your backyard, don't let these amazing foods go to waste, because nutritionally, figs are a phenomenal food. Of course, a lot of you may already know that they have some huge fertility benefits, especially for men, so you might not want them to feed them to your husband if you don't want little ones running around. But, which is funny because they kind of look like little spermy nastiness inside there too, but I hope that's PG-13 to say sperms, but
yeah, I think so.
I think so.
I think they learn that in school.
They have to learn that in school. So they have some huge fertility benefits. They're also huge in fiber. And although we all know that fiber is good for you, there's been some amazing studies, especially in post-menopausal women, that show that if you eat your your fiber specifically from fruit, as opposed to from a grain or the whole of brown rice or something like that, you can reduce your risk of cancer by 50%. They also they're really high in manganese and in potassium. So do not let these little phytonutrient, antioxidant-rich, yummy jewels rot on the floor of your backyard. You don't want to do that. So we're going to show you a couple of ways to fix these. We're going to start by just showing you a little kind of pre-work or homework for some. It's a little fig bar. It's kind of like the classic Fig Newton, except it is a completely raw food version. So we'll show you how to do that, and then we're going to show you how to make a fig chutney. Now, the chutney is cooked. So obviously this is not a raw dish, but it's a phenomenal dish.
It's beautiful. It's
and even as a raw food chef, I love this dish. I'm not 100% raw. I don't even believe that that's necessary. And I love what cooking does to the texture of the fig.
If you have an issue with the texture, that cooking will take it out.
Yes. And the texture, to be honest, is generally the turnoff.
Yes.
So I'm going to grab the little Fig Newton base and show you how to do that really quick, and then we'll start right in on the chutney. Okay, so really quickly, before we show you the chutney, I just want you to see the raw version of Fig Newtons. These are our fig bars. Looks kind of like a little fig tart here. And all we did was take the pulp from one batch of almond milk, which you can see how to make on thedeliciousrevolution.com. There's a video there that shows you how to do it. So you have all this nut pulp left over after you make the milk, and we added just a little bit of coconut oil and some vanilla and a dash of salt to that. And we made basically like a little tart crust under the bottom. And then we've covered it with a spread that is so easy to make. You just take 1 cup of the really ripe, mushy figs and 1 cup of medjool dates that have been pitted, of course, and cinnamon, a little bit of clove, and
that's what I'm smelling.
and a powdered ginger, and we blend that all up into this lovely sort of fudgy looking paste, and you spread it over the top of the tart crust, and we're going to throw that in the dehydrator while we're making the chutney, and then we'll try those when they are all done. Sweet, delicious, and easy. I think you'll really like it.
It smells like chocolate.
Yeah, it actually has a little bit of a chocolate taste from the outside of the fig, which is where all the antioxidants are.
Good.
Yeah, really good. Okay, let's get these in the dehydrator and make some chutney.
Yep.